Good morning, everybody. Shift your mindset here. New episode about the mad magicians in the Jehovah Witness organization. I watched the governing body update because I was anxious to see what they come up to. And it was all about starting with there are some few conventions left. We had about 6 conventions and blah blah blah. And I believe in Paraguay was the highest attendance of all 28,000 people. And there were more than 200 people getting baptized. Interesting. Paraguay, I know, is a poorer country. So my observation is from the last years, especially in poorest countries, they are still growing a little bit. So also with the conventions. Normally, done deal. Also here in Africa, you see that there's still a lot of people and there's still growth in the poorest regions of the world for the Jehovah Witnesses. But they target one country out of all the conventions around the world. Because if we look at all the conventions we see it on other websites, we see pictures of empty seats. Normally people are standing in line before the convention hall even opens, and then you see them running with everything to get a good place. That's all in the past, because there are now 1/3, 2.5 of the convention hall is empty. We see congregations put together, smaller assembly halls, whatever. So we see the general thing is that there are more empty seats than ever. But this governing body member with his beard, of course, because they were longing so long for having a beard now. So everybody has a beard now. It's ridiculous already, but okay. They are very smart. They like magicians. They can pull it out of a high hat, and they just one country they take. And you are sitting there nodding along. Whoa, Paraguay, wow, 28,000 attendees. Whoa, that's great. Because you have a miserable life, you have a miserable convention yourself. You were bored, you were asleep, you were dragging yourself through the day. You saw all those empty seats. So now there's a little light in the darkness of your life. And that's a country that has a lot of attendees. So 28,000, but they don't tell you that 11,000 are publishers. That it's a country with more kids than the average country, than the United States or Europe. Because if you look at it, that part of the world, you see more children as a JW. So if you go back to ratio and kids per family and stuff like that, from the 28,000, 11,000 are a publisher. So you have 17,000 people left in that stadium. And from that all 17,000, there are only 200 getting baptized. That's about 2%. Someone here. So if you break it down, the numbers, you don't only look at the attendees, but you look at the conversion rate of people getting baptized. It's a lot of children from the publishers. They have more than 2 children per family. So if you look at the rate for the baptism, it's not that great. So you have a big stadium full of people singing along, sleeping along, and listening to the speakers, but it's only a few people who get baptized. So is it that special? But he keeps on going about positive things. Also, the next one. The Grand Chamber in Europe ruled in favor of Pinda Mula. That's a sister who got a blood transfusion against her will. If you look down at the emergency and whatever, the doctors were okay to give it to her, but the Grand Chamber ruled in favor of this sister. And now all 46 or 28 other countries in Europe have that same stance on blood transfusion. That someone has a free will to choose their medical aid. And I'm okay with that, that's not a problem. But there were a lot of circumstances around that the doctors decided to save her life because she was rushed into the emergency and she had to be in surgery immediately. So it's a complicated thing, I think, blood transfusion, because you're an adult and you can have a free will. I'm a big fan of free will, so I'm not gonna say anything about that. But what I'm gonna say about it is, this governing body member said, "Thanks, Jehovah, for this legal victory." But we don't thank you, Jehovah, for all the other legal stuff. How is Jehovah gonna gonna think about Philip Brumley, who lied into court, get fined $150,000 US dollars for lying in court, donation money? How is Jehovah blessing the organization with the court case in Spain, that they wanted to take a website down because they don't like that website? The JWs lost. And on top of that, they had to pay for the court costs. And you know, it's not a small amount. If you go to court and you lose it and you have to pay, it's never €100, $100. It's more. They lose a court case in New Zealand about abuse, because they weren't on time for complaints and stuff like that. They lost the court case again. They lost the court case in Norway. Does that mean that Jehovah is backing up Norway? That he is giving Norway a legal victory? Because if you want to thank Jehovah for a legal victory, what are you going to do when you have a legal defeat? Then all of a sudden you don't thank Jehovah anymore for opening your eyes that you have something what's going really, really, really wrong in your organization? What about that Hawaiian person a year ago who gets $40 million for a CSA case? The Jehovah Witnesses had to pay it because they were found guilty of child sexual abuse. In the United States, there are still cases going on to 14 elders, I believe, or maybe more now. It's still pending. Denmark is taking a stand about Jehovah Witnesses. I also know in the Netherlands now, they are asking questions in the government for the shunning policy, what's going on. So instead of only giving us, "Thank you, Jehovah, for this legal victory," and they especially put it on the website, you can take your money to the bank for that. They're gonna put it up on the website news. But what about all the other cases that are pending, the legal cases? You never see them on the JW website. You never see them on the website. The message from removing Tony Morris from the governing body was gone in a few hours. So you're only giving thanks for Jehovah if you get a legal victory, but you get more legal defeats than victories in court. And what you gonna do about that? Are you blaming Jehovah, or are you also thanking Jehovah? Because you can't have it another way. If someone dies, oh yeah, Jehovah, he takes care of the family with a beautiful future in paradise. But so you're only thanking Jehovah for the things that go well in your organization? What's wrong with you guys? Because then they're talking about growth in the organization, and I thought about, think about the Philippines, I believe it was, about the numbers going up, the growth, but they just take one country. They just give you positive vibes. They just give you something you can, oh yes, oh luckily we're still growing somewhere. But it's just, they try to get you away from your own feelings and critical thinking about, hey, but there's more countries in decline than in that they are growing. So what's up with that? How is that possible? Where it comes from? Why are they in decline? Whatever. Search for yourself the reasons why people are leaving. But no, the governing body update is all about kumbaya. It's going so great. Look at this country. There are more publishers. There's growth. There are new congregations. They're building congregations in that country. Yeah, but they're selling more congregations than they are building at the moment. But no one is talking about that. So do your own research. Then it was about the Bible study month. Worldwide, and we are part of it, and you have to be, whoa, yeah, you have to be so happy to be in that loving arrangement of everybody. And it was also about some great experiences, and also that the Bible studies were growing. But if you break it down, and I did it from the 1990s, there is a decline. And the percentage of Bible studies who get baptized is way under 5% at the moment. So they are good because every time you see that the Bible studies go up, the numbers of Bible study go up, but the percentage of people who get baptized from a Bible study goes down. So it's the same with that you only publish the attendees of the memorial. Yeah, there are so much, 20 million people were at the memorial. Yeah, but from those 8 million to 20 million, 12 million every year, how many percent of them are becoming a Jehovah Witness after the memorial? Did you keep track on that? No, of course not. So people don't make the mistake to just believe numbers. Because if you go and look at the numbers of Bible studies, they're going up every year. But the growth doesn't match the numbers they produce to you. Because a number is nothing. If I'm making $1 million in my company, what does it say to you? $1 million. I make $1 million. What does it say to you? It says nothing to me. Because if I have 20 people on my paycheck, or on my payroll, and I have a lot of investments in equipment or whatever, my expenses can be 2 million, 3 million, 5 million. So what's about the 1 million I did this year on sales? It says nothing, because I'm in debt. I'm not doing great because I have more expenses than I have revenue coming in. So just a number, people. Don't get fooled by just a number, because that number says nothing. You have to break it down at the percentage, the rate percentage, the conversion of that, how many are turned into a publisher from a Bible study. And then you see it's too low to maintain those high numbers and keep on the growth they portraying you. And that's why I always be honest about, you have to do self-reflection. And because of the governing body is lacking any form of self-reflection, because they don't know what's going on in the outside world, and they just keep on producing fake numbers because it's only one thing, but there are more things depending on that. So just do your research, but also do your own self-reflection, because no one else is doing it for you, but also the governing body is not doing it. Because the governing body is the problem, because they're giving you advice, also in this governing body update, how to do Bible studies, to do more door-to-door ministry. Not only card witnessing, but also door-to-door ministry. And they say on times that people are home. That's in the evening. Do they go out in ministry in the evening? No, they are sitting in a luxury apartment and just writing down the rules for the rest to follow. So they are not doing the work themselves, but they urge other people to do more. Because why? They lack self-reflection, because they are thinking the Bible studies are growing, but baptism is still behind of that. So yeah, those lazy JWs, those rank and files are lazy. They are not good in educating people. They have to be more interested in people. They have to see more opportunities to start a conversation. And if you go out and get a coffee at Starbucks and there's a line behind you, you have to talk to that person who's giving you the coffee and make the conversation about the Bible and God. And they all give you some directions how you can be a better person in a conversation with someone else, and to guide it away to read a Bible scripture and to make someone interesting in the Bible and stuff like that. So they're thinking so condescending about you that you don't know what to do. They're also controlling that aspect. And those guys, I think, oh, those lazy JWs, there are a lot of Bible studies, but yeah, we're falling behind on the baptism. Yeah, they have to do better. They have to do more. And we're gonna give some advice to them how to be a better Bible conductor. So we do this and that. So people, don't get fooled by numbers. Start your own self-reflection. What am I watching? What am I reading? Is it true that there's so much growth there? Just look at the numbers, look at the Bible studies, look at the how do you say, demographic things about that land, how many children there are, how many Bible studies there are. It's all connected. And if you know what's connected, then you can see through the real truth. And that is not that peachy in the JW organization at the moment. So don't get fooled by a number. Don't get fooled by one country they highlight. Don't get fooled by all the positive things they want to bring to you, but also at the same time, the guilt that you don't do enough and that you have to do more in the ministry, find more ways to harass people, even at night when they are eating and they are coming home from the work and they want a relaxed evening. They just push you to the limit to just make the numbers. And don't get fooled by the numbers, people. Thank you for watching. We see each other tomorrow at the next episode.